Principle 1, start with a question. The ordinary math class begins with answers and never arrives at a real question. Here are the steps to multiply, you repeat. Here are the steps to divide, you repeat. We've covered the material, we're moving on. What matters in this model is memorizing the steps. There's no room to doubt or imagine or refuse. So there's no real thinking here. What would it look like if we started with a question? For example, here are the numbers from 1 to 20. Now, there's a question lurking in this picture, hiding in plain sight. What's going on with the colors? Now, intuitively, it feels like there's some connection between the numbers and the colors. I mean, maybe it's even possible to extend the coloring to more numbers. At the same time, the meaning of the colors is not clear. It's a real mystery. And so the question feels authentic and compelling. And like so many authentic mathematical questions, this one has an answer that is both beautiful and profoundly satisfying. And of course, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I don't think of myself as a mean person, but I am willing to deny you what you want. Because I know if I rush to an answer, I will have robbed you of the opportunity to learn. Thinking happens only when we have time to struggle. And that is principle 2. It's not uncommon for students to graduate from high school believing that every math problem can be solved in 30 seconds or less. And if they don't know the answer, they're just not a math person. This is a failure of education. We need to teach kids to be tenacious and courageous, to persevere in the face of difficulty. The only way to teach perseverance is to give students time to think and grapple with real problems. I brought this image into a classroom recently, and we took the time to struggle. And the longer we spent, the more the class came alive with thinking. The students made observations, they had questions. Like, why do the numbers in that last column always have orange and blue in them? And does it mean anything that the green spots are always going diagonals? And what's going on with those little white numbers in the red segments? Is it important that those are always odd numbers? Struggling with a genuine question, students deepen their curiosity and their powers of observation. They also develop the ability to take a risk. Some students noticed that every even number has orange in it, and they were willing to stake a claim. Orange must mean even. And then they asked, is that right? This can be a scary place as a teacher. A student comes to you with an original thought. What if you don't know the answer? Well, that is principle 3. You are not the answer key. Teachers, students may ask you questions you don't know how to answer, and this can feel like a threat. But you are not the answer key. Students who are inquisitive is a wonderful thing to have in your classroom. And if you can respond by saying, I don't know, let's find out, math becomes an adventure. Teach them that not knowing is not failure. It's the first step to understanding. So, when this group of students ask me if orange means even, I don't have to tell them the answer. I don't even need to know the answer. I can ask one of them to explain to me why she thinks it's true. Or we can throw the idea out to the class. Because they know the answers won't come from me, they need to convince themselves and argue with each other to determine what's true. And so one student says, look, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I checked all of the even numbers. They all have orange in them. What more do you want? And another student says, well, wait a minute. I see what you're saying, but some of those numbers have 1 orange piece. Some have 2 or 3. Like, look at 48. It's got 4 orange pieces. Are you telling me that 48 is 4 times as even as 46? There must be more to the story. By refusing to be the answer key, you create space for this kind of mathematical conversation and debate. And this draws everyone in, because we love to see people disagree. After all, where else can you see real thinking out loud? Students doubt, affirm, deny, understand. And all you have to do as the teacher is not be the answer key and say yes to their ideas.